You're standing at a fast food kiosk, right? You tap the screen, and instantly, this high-definition video of a juicy burger flawlessly scales up. The menu shifts, the lighting's
Oh,
aging.
yeah, and there's like absolutely no buffering, no lag at all.
Exactly. And today, we're looking at the tiny, invisible brain that makes that physical interaction possible. Welcome to our deep dive into the technical spec sheet for the BrightSign XD1036 4K Digital Signage Media Player.
It's quite a mouthful of a name, but it is fascinating.
It really is. And our mission for you today is to decode this highly specialized hardware to reveal the technology powering all those massive interactive displays you see every single day.
Yeah, and to give you a sense of scale, this brain is, well, it's surprisingly compact. It's an 8.1 by 7.3 inch black and purple box, and it weighs just 1.3 pounds.
Wait, really? That's incredibly small.
Right. It's literally built to completely vanish behind the screen, just working quietly out of sight.
Like the invisible director of a massive stage play. So let's unpack what it's actually doing back there. Because the specs say it decodes 4K UHD video at 60 frames per second.
Yeah, and it supports single 10-bit HDR, plus runs interactive 2D HTML5 motion graphics.
Which means it's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Oh, absolutely. The paradigm shift here is moving away from just passive video playback to real-time localized rendering. I mean, it's functioning much more like a high-end video game console than what you'd think of as a traditional media player.
Right, because it has to render those incredibly rich, high-fidelity graphics natively just on the fly.
Exactly. And it's processing formats like HEVC and VP9 directly.
So it can compress massive 4K files down to manageable sizes, but without losing that crisp 10-bit HDR color data.
Which is crucial, because if you're looking at a high-end retail display, any stutter or, a dropped frame, it just completely shatters the illusion.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Which is why relying on a live cloud stream for all those heavy HTML5 assets and high bitrate video is, well, it's a huge risk, right?
Way too risky. You just can't depend on an internet connection to keep those graphics perfectly smooth.
So to guarantee zero buffering, you need local storage. And that's why it packs a 256 gigabyte internal M.2 NVMe SSD.
Right, you load the heavy content directly onto the box, so it is literally always ready to go.
Okay, so pushing beautiful 4K pixels is obviously great, but where this spec sheet gets genuinely fascinating for me is how it talks to the physical environment.
Ah, yes. This brings us to the expanded I/O or, input-output part of the product name.
Yeah, because I have to push back a bit here. I mean, I get the HDMI output, but why does a media player need a 12-pin Phoenix GPIO port or serial ports or an M2E key for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth? Isn't this just completely overkill?
Well, if you're used to consumer electronics, it definitely sounds like a bunch of random letters. But for commercial architecture, these are essentially industrial logic controllers.
Okay, so they actually serve a specialized purpose.
Yeah, like the M2E key handles the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, while that GPIO port lets the device react to physical, real-world triggers. Oh, wow. So it acts almost like a digital nervous system.
I really like that analogy. The sensors are the nerve endings, right? So a GPIO port can connect directly to a motion sensor.
Meaning the display changes the exact moment you walk past it.
Exactly. Or it wires into physical push buttons on a museum exhibit, and the serial ports let it communicate with older legacy hardware. It is constantly reading its environment.
So it's not just broadcasting, it's actively listening.
Yes, beautifully put.
But wait, placing this complex nervous system anywhere in a building? I mean, providing enough wattage to run a 4K graphics engine usually requires a dedicated power brick and an outlet right next to the screen?
Normally, yes. But that is simplified by the PoE Plus, or Power over Ethernet Plus capability. It solves the power problem by just using standard Ethernet cables.
Wait, really? Or just the Ethernet cable?
Yeah. Those cables have multiple twisted pairs of copper wire inside. So the system sends the high-speed data signals over some of the pairs, while simultaneously pushing up to 30 watts of electrical current through the others. So you get your entire network connection and your power supply in one single cable.
Exactly. No need to hire an electrician to install a new wall outlet. You just mount the tiny box to the wall, run the one Ethernet cable, and you're done.
Which makes the $750 price point pretty strategic when you're scaling a massive commercial space.
Oh, totally. Especially since the sources note there's actually a sneaky 5% off promo code hidden right on their checkout page.
Hey, you gotta love a good discount. But I mean, it really highlights the specialized nature of this hardware.
It does. The next time you interact with a flawless, instantly responsive digital kiosk or, order from an animated menu board, you'll know exactly what's quietly humming behind the screen.
You'll definitely look at the built environment a bit differently, which leaves you with an interesting question to ponder today. If a device this small and practically invisible can so seamlessly blend 4K video, interactive HTML5, and real-world environmental sensors, how soon will the physical architecture of our cities simply become one continuous, reactive digital canvas?